All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We are back with another edition of the NBA show. It is December 16th. We're about a week and a half away from Christmas. We got some 6 games to talk about tonight. I was hoping my guy Go Collect would be in here taking home the SHIPIT Nation Invitational yesterday. He's a stack richer. Also got 4th in that. Big shout out to Go Collect. Hopefully he joins us soon. But I see my guy Winslot's in here. Sean Sullivan's in here. Ross K. As always, Jordan Newens, what's going on, Jordan? Michael Peterson, Parabay, Desmond, what's going on? Big Anthony Massey, Gangrene. I can't read all that while I'm doing that, but we are here. There's 30 of you in here right now. Should grow to about 300. Just make sure you're hitting that like. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe, whether you're watching us live or on replay. We got 6 games to talk today, BJ. You're filling in for our guy, Rio. How was your weekend? And what's going on, my man?
Yeah, man, it's been good, tilting Sunday as most of them are. But, the way you look at it after is like today's Monday and we get to, have another NFL slate, NBA slate, same night. So you kind of take for granted. I think Wednesday, there's no NBA games, no football. I don't know what the hell we're all going to do. But no, man, just excited, get to talk sports, man. What else? Even if you have a couple losing slates in a row, just know, man, it takes one. So hopefully that's somebody in here and one of us and get the week rolling right.
Yeah, get the week rolling right is absolutely right. And are you going to that game tomorrow night in Vegas? I know you were talking about it. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to sit out. Like for me, like I've been chasing like these games. I went to like a Mavs and Clippers game years ago and it came down to the last shot. And then last year I went to like Lakers Memphis where the Lakers blew them out. And I was like, yeah, it was a playoff game. Like, you're great. It's fun to go and be there. But I think tomorrow's a blowout. So, I was kind of on the coin flip. Like, I was hoping, the Thunder would have lost the other night. So we would have had a closer game. But I think Thunder run them out of the gym. And I think I'll save my Vegas trip for another time. But looking at it, I see Ross in the chat. The cheap tickets are almost had to pull a Rio and sit courtside when they were discounted. But I couldn't do it for a Thunder by 25 spot.
Yeah, there you go. Gang Green is right. We're going to get into it. Who's fading Joker? Joker heavily, I guess, favored, if you will, when it comes to the projections. Big-time projections leader. But we got 6 games. We're going to break it down. Make sure you're hitting that like. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe for us. Helps us out a ton. We're going to go over to the Stone. It is the Stone Nuts. We'll go game by game here. And we have the 76ers, the big man in the middle. He's out. He is made of glass. No Joel Embiid taking on the Hornets. I think we have Lamelo as questionable. He's still questionable early, but he would be back tonight. Interesting game, I guess. Any value pieces here that you can see, BJ? 76ers at the Hornets.
Yeah, no, before we jump in, Sean Sullivan in the chat. What's up, buddy? I'm down to place a wager if you want to throw the Hawk Tua girl back up on your Discord picture, but hit me up after the show. Let's see if we can get something going. It's funny you bring up Embiid, Glass Man. Fun stat here. Embiid, Paul George, Maxey, and McCain. It'd be funny to see some guesses, and then I'll tell the answer at the end of the game. How many minutes this season have they all played together on the floor? That's, their franchise there, but we'll get into that. You guys throw in any ideas. I guess we won't get that many responses with the viewership right now.
I don't know. I'm going to say 0 because McCain wasn't playing at the beginning of the season. That's just my guess, but hopefully I'm wrong. If you know in the chat, throw it in there. You can't look it up. Don't cheat either. Don't go to Google.
Yeah, none of that stuff. But no, man, we're going to start off with the worst pace and the worst total game on the slate. It's just ugly, man. Today's slate's really weird. We have 6 games, and we really want to target 2. Then we have 2 we don't really want to target. And then we have, potential blowouts in 1, definitely, but maybe a second. So this is going to fall into a game for me where I don't love it. I won't get to a lot of this. The first thing I see is a popular Drummond. Hasn't been playing the minutes. You can't, get excited about it because I want to go back and see what his exact minutes are. But I think he had sub 10 in one of these games recently. No Drummond for me, especially if he's going to be popular. He's definitely higher than the number we have shown when we look across the industry. But outside of that, I mean, Maxey at 8,800, Paul George at 8,300. Those are going to be the two, beneficiaries of everybody off of the floor. I can get behind a little Maxey at 8,800, but he's so dependent on that shot to fall, that 8,800, if he does not score well, pretty much dead on a 6-game slate, in my opinion. And as far as the Paul George stuff goes, I get it, but I think I'd rather just, target him in the 7Ks, which hopefully we get soon. But really off both of those guys. Yabu at 52, same thing, hasn't been getting a ton of minutes recently. I think it's a decent matchup versus Charlotte, but he's slated to start, and at 5,200, I think he's too much. The real question would be Council at 4,200. In that last game versus Indiana, he had a 33% usage rate, and that was really the first real game with no McCain and no Martin. So at 4,200, I can get behind a little bit of that. Don't love it, but definitely somebody to think about when making multiple lineups. And then the last guy for the Sixers side is Kelly Oubre at 58. 5 of the last 6, he's played at least 30 minutes and had 30 DraftKings points. Don't mind that at a sub 6K price tag. But like I said, we're just kind of making stuff up here, kind of going through the motions in an ugly game like this. And I'll keep it simple for the Charlotte side. If Lamelo plays, I'm off the whole team. He's too much at 10K on DraftKings for me. And all these guys are priced accordingly or priced too high if he does come back. And then if he does come back, I won't be touching Brandon Miller at almost 9K. I guess I could get behind a little Bridges at 6,100 and a little Josh Green at 4,600. But the Josh Green stuff is really if we don't have any value. But that's it. Ugly game to start. Don't want to touch it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you for the most part. I would say Tyrese Maxey might be the one place we not disagree on. I think you mentioned it, but I don't mind Tyrese at what is he, 8,800, I believe. Triple double 2 games ago. A bad Charlotte team defensively. I did not see it. If LaMelo plays, is he going to be on a minutes restriction? I would assume probably he is, but I did not see one way or the other.
Yeah, no, let me just quickly look up here, see if there's a new notification. I would assume so. What's he been out, like a week?
Yeah, at least a week. Yeah, week.
Yeah, he's young, so he can come in and play a bunch of minutes, but still, but though, even if he gets his full minutes, 10K versus a Sixers team and a 216 total, I don't think I'm jumping, on the ship to go and play that. But yeah, that's where I stand on this game.
All right. Well, this game's over. So are you going to give us the answer to your trivia question?
Yeah. 0. That was a sharp answer. Answer to start, but the answer is 19 minutes. I thought that was crazy. So they pretty much played one half together as far as that goes, but hopefully they can figure this whole thing out. I think it's going to be funny near the end of the season when Embiid is magically not made of glass as we get closer to postseason time. But what an ugly thing. Even on Twitter yesterday, I was pissed off about the NFL and I, wrote something. I forget what I wrote, but just the leagues aren't in the best spot right now. Yes, we can wager on it every day, and make money, but pretty much in all 3 leagues, whether it's NBA, NFL, or MLB, I think there's holes to be poked through all of them. They're deferring money in NFL, NBA, everybody's sitting out and all their fines are backwards. Like Fred VanVleet gets fined like $25,000 for basically getting in a ref's face, and then LaMelo gets hit with $100,000 for saying no homo. So I don't know. We're in a whole nother world that we're not used to.
Ross K wants to know if y'all are wagering that Hulk coin. I saw it on X. Don't know if she pulled the rug. I don't know what all that stuff means, but I saw they were on there.
Did they take it down?
Huh?
I think they took it down because she did the whole pump and dump and made a bunch of money.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Any Yubo love?
Yabu. Yeah, I think you're talking about Yabu. 5,200 is too much for me. That's it. Obviously, if he gets the minutes, he obviously offers a little upside, but I think 5,200, is just a little bit too much in a low total game.
Yeah, Drummond projects better than he does as well. We spent way too much time on this game. We'll move on to the next one. Heat at the Pistons. Cade Cunningham popping for me. Heat are 4.5 point favorites. 219 38.5 total. Another game that I don't have a ton of interest in. Heat just played too many guys. But talk to me a little bit about this game. No Tobias Harris that I know of. Bam's popping as well. Anyway, Heat at Pistons.
Yeah, no. So I'm getting a little bit better at little coach speak stuff. Spo came out and said, Rozier's been playing well with the second unit, and Bam, when he gets the assist, obviously makes the offense more dangerous. So don't mind a little Bam love, but we'll get into that in a second. Really, aside from barely any, love for Bam, it gets pretty tough for anybody on this Heat team. I think they're all priced accordingly. They all kind of take away from each other. Again, we're in the second lowest pace with the second lowest total. So really from the Heat side, it's going to be Bam at 82. But, he gets not a tough matchup, but not the best matchup versus Durant on the other side. And then this Drew Smith guy at 3,800. So his last three, he's played 29, 26, and 34 minutes for 19, 19, 21. If we don't get any value, I wouldn't mind, getting a guy that they're kind of letting him see run. I think he's a G League two-way guy. But at 3,800, I don't mind that. And really, that's it for me on the Heat. Jumping over the Pistons side, this is a Malik Beasley night for me at 4,600. With the injury to Tobias Harris, I think he could see 30 minutes. And, this was a guy that when he was getting the minutes with the injuries a few weeks ago, we saw him, he was priced at 6K. So now that he's back down to 4,600, I want to take advantage of that. I guess, we really haven't seen, how they're going to run, rotations out, with Tobias out. Isaiah Stewart, he's been so unproductive. He's 4,100, but it's not like he's like a guy that sits in the corner or, doesn't have the ability to score fantasy points. So I don't mind him if you're making multiple lineups. And then Fontecchio at 3,200. If he's chalk, I'm off. The projection's going to be somewhere in the high teens, maybe the low 20s. I get he's 3,200, but I can't wait to, not play him. And I think that kind of falls into the Thompson and the Holland stuff. I think they're all just kind of sharing minutes down there in that low 3K range coming off the bench. That's why I'm just going to kind of be all over the Beasley at 46 and just kind of call it a day. But no Cade for me. So I'm curious to hear your take with the Cade stuff.
Yeah, I like Cade. He projects well. I don't think there's going to be a lot of guys that project much better than him on this slate, but I haven't built any teams yet, but Bam and Cade would be my two favorite in this game. Naturally they're two of the higher priced guys, so it's gonna be tough to fit them both, but that would be where I would start. Tyler Hero's not bad. I would have to look and see it 7,600. Don't hate that. And then you're gonna have with no Tobias, you're gonna have some guys get extra minutes, but I'm with you. No Fontecchio at chalk. Just be interested to see. Malik Beasley got asked about in the chat, and you alluded to him as well. But I don't hate that. But more importantly, I won't have a lot of this game just because, I think there's better spots to play with tonight.
Yeah, just the last thing too, like when you're looking at these two teams, they play in the half court. We're going to get to a couple of games, where they're going to run up and down the floor, and that kind of falls into it. Like I could see myself building a Malik Beasley, Drew Smith team and be like, hey, I'm going to tap some value here. But even at that point, I don't love it.
Yeah, Sean talking about Fontecchio season. Tim Hardaway makes 8 straight threes tonight, which reminds me, Klay Thompson went back to the Bay last night and was balling at 7 of 11. That was cool to see. But in any
he's
event,
2 for 2 this season with that, right? I didn't watch that game. I was watching other stuff, but I would anticipate the first couple possessions of the game, they're just running looks for him, trying to get him hot, which is cool.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the next game, which I think will have some interest in this one. 240.5 point total. Neither team can play good defense. Saw some Jakob Podol talk in the chat. Someone said he wasn't any good, but do you have any Podol love? Do you have any Vooch love? Anybody else for the Bulls or Raptors? I did want to note that Scotty Barnes is set to miss this game, correct?
Yeah, he rolled the ankle. Thank God. I was watching that game. It looked real bad. But these guys falling, they're so big and strong. When you come down on that ankle on somebody's foot, it could be so bad. But yeah, he's out. I think a couple of weeks. I think maybe a week. But yeah, that's it. Vooch is probable. I anticipate he plays, and Levine is questionable. But I anticipate he plays.
Yeah, talk to me about this game. 240 point total. Like I said, we know that the Bulls play up in pace. We've been playing their games all season, but who were some of your favorite plays from this game?
Yeah, this game's super interesting, and I love the Pirtle talk. If Hebrew was here, it would be the Patel talk. But the Bulls are giving up the most points at the rim in the NBA, and the Raptors have I don't have the number, but I think it's the most, if I correctly remember reading that earlier. So you have a team that gives up the most versus the team that scores the most. Obviously, with the injury stuff, we'll start with the Raptor side because that's kind of the easier side to break down. I just have you could play all these guys. RJ, yeah, he's up to 9,100, but he's going to fill into that point guard role, if you will. He's been balling 9,100. I'm with it. Like, I think this might just be a spot where you play him. The real question is going to be RJ or Harden, which we'll get to at a $200 difference on DraftKings. And I still think it's RJ. But yeah, queue up all the pause stuff as we get closer to lock in the Discord, because it's a ton of Grady Dick tonight. 5,900. He's taken 21, 11, 19 shots his last three. I think this is another spot in a 240 matchup where we just let him shoot 20 times. So if I was making a lineup right now, 5 minutes before lock, gun to your head, it would be Dick and it would be Barrett on one side. And then jumping over to the Bulls side, it's really going to be Vooch by a mile for me. I think Zach LaVine, rostered him the other night, put him in the core. Pretty frustrating to watch. His price in the mid 7Ks, I'm going to stay away from to kind of see how he plays over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to cross him off my list. The real question is going to be Giddey or White. And, the Bulls are the leader in catch and shoot shots in the NBA, and the Raptors are top 10 in limiting them. So that's why Vooch is going to lead out for number one for me. And between, Giddey or White, I'm throwing Io out of there just at 6,200. I'm not really falling in love with it. Obviously, it is price tag sub 6K. I don't mind that at all. But at 6,200, I'm going to get away and either go Giddey or White. I think it's Giddey slightly for me, but that's going to kind of fall into recent form, if you will. Kind of the recency bias on going him. But for me, it's going to be Vooch by a mile on the Bulls side, followed by Giddey slightly over White. And then jumping over, it's going to be both Grady Dick and RJ Barrett by a mile as my favorites. And then the real question for me tonight is if I'm going to be okay making the decision to play 3 or 4 Raptors. 4 sounds like a lot, but this kind of goes back to, a couple weeks ago when I think it was Hawks and Bulls, and I ended up playing like 4 Bulls. And it was one of my best teams of the night, and it was 4 starters. If Mogbo continues to get the start, I could make a case for you to go Dick, Barrett, Patel. Geez, I'm so used to saying that with a Hebrew here. Pirtle, and then Mogbo. But for 7,300 is just too cheap versus the Bulls being the team that gives up the most rib points.
BJ has spoken. He is all in on some Dick tonight. I will go with Podal, Pirtle, you name it, Patel, whatever you want to call him. I know somebody in the chat will not like the way we're pronouncing his name, but give me some Jakob. Really like him. He's my favorite play. RJ Barrett. We saw earlier this season, I know you'll remember when Scotty Barnes missed those games. I mean, RJ Barrett had like a 3 or 4 game stretch where he was like going, I don't know, 50, 60 plus, something crazy like that. But give me Jakob as my favorite one, followed by Barrett. And then, those Bulls are just so tough because, all 5 of them, right? The starting 5, I just feel like it's the same thing every night. But, there we go. My guy Jordan, he knows what's up. He's in on some Jakob tonight. So let's see.
I love it. We're going to roster him, and then we're going to throw the classic GIF in there. I don't know if you've seen that GIF, though, but I'll post it in the chat tonight when he drops like a 45, 50 bomb.
I hope
that's going to get him fined.
I hope the NBA's not watching. If not, he's good. But I like this guy. What does he say? I'm a loser till I win the Millie. Hey, we're all losers until we win the Millie. The only guy that I personally know is my guy Hoopster. I may know some others, but he's the one that rings the bell. That's what we're all here for, to try to win the Millie. Won't win it tonight, but hey, or maybe we will win it tonight on the NFL streets if they're having one over there. But moving on to the next game, I should probably just skip it, but my contract states I have to go through all 6 of these games. So we will talk about the cover boy, Donovan Mitchell, going into the New Jersey Nets. Go into your local Shiptimizer, click X on every single net, and then you are off to a great start. But talk to me about this game. Cavaliers at the Nets, 10.5-point favorites are the Cavs.
Yeah, no, crazy trade. Obviously, Golden State gets a lot better with Schroeder going over there. But I don't know, man. This is classic stuff. We'll start on the Cavaliers side, right? Nothing really crazy. I think Mobley's going to play. He's probable. But classic stuff that I say every time I talk about the Cavs. It's like, they don't get in super great game environments. They're all priced accordingly. They all kind of take from each other. So I'll go the classic 1v1 swap between Mitchell and Garland. I think it'll be Garland just because I don't think this game is super competitive. I think this is a smash spot. If you could still get it at 9.5 or 10, I think you smash the Cavs. I think they run him out of the gym. But I think it's going to be Garland with the price discount over Mitchell. And then Allen, seems like the better click, but I think it's Mobley at 7,900. So that's really where I'll leave the Cavs. I mean, if you're in the business of playing Levert at 5K coming off the bench, hoping for a blowout, I don't hate it. I thought I had his recent games written down. I guess I didn't. But, he's going to play his mid to high 20s and, has to shoot the ball well. He offers a little upside at 5K, but I don't think this is like a 35, 40-point fantasy point production night for him off the bench. So not really getting any cute with any of these Cavs. But the real question is I think if you X the Nets, at least for me, I think you might be missing out on something just because, well, first of all, Zaire Williams is out. Cam Thomas is out. Obviously, Schroeder's gone. Almost 8 minutes of touch time for Schroeder that he got shipped off. So 8 minutes off of the floor, touching the ball. And then as well as Cam Thomas being out, that's almost 4 minutes. So that leaves us with Ben Simmons and Cam Johnson, which are super ugly. But Ben Simmons at 5,500 and Cam Johnson at 7,200, taking a million shots, not Ben Simmons, but Cam Johnson. I think we're going to have to make a real decision between one of those guys. I think in the cash game streets with some of these, NBA, super nosebleed players, I think they're going to get to one of these guys. No Claxton for me. He's projecting well at 6K. I don't want to attack Cavaliers rim defense. And then the last thing we'll talk about here is going to be the decisions between Keon Johnson at 49 and then Shake Milton at 4,700. I think it's going to be really close. I mean, somebody has to shoot the ball. Somebody's going to have to, be able to, put points on the board for the Nets. I think I'm going to lean Keon Johnson at 4,900 in his maybe 30 minutes. I think the projection's somewhere in the high 20s, but we could see up to 30, and that's going to outplay Shake for me.
Always trust the volunteer. Keon Johnson, I'm not playing him, but hey, best of luck to you if you do. So someone said in the chat, Ben Simmons is popping in optimals. Cavaliers been a little worse against the three-pointer, Sean says, so maybe Cam Johnson, it's his night. But, man, those guys are tough clicks. But you made some interesting points, like you said. I mean, they've either traded off or their main key pieces are out injured. And then just looking at the Cavs, I mean, it'd be tough. I mean, I guess Donovan Mitchell would be my favorite, be everybody's favorite, but I'll probably be skipping some of this game. Let's go to the next one. Should be a good real-life game. Should be a good for daily fantasy purposes as well. We have the Joker. We have Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. headed into Sacktown. Hey, many people probably don't know that the capital of California is Sacktown. But anyway,
that's funny. That's such a random thing to say. I love it.
Well,
Fun facts with Ham on Monday. I love it.
Hey, a little U.S. geography, man. It's like you got Sacktown, you think L.A., San Diego, all these great cities, and then Sacramento is the capital. But in any event, let's talk basketball. But Sabonis and Joker. Joker, was it Saturday night that he burned everybody? I mean, they won, but I felt like he had like 15 points. I think they were I know he was in my core, yours, and probably Hebrews as well. But, yeah, talk to me about this game. Nuggets, I think Aaron Gordon's playing. No major injuries. I think Malik Monk has been playing. But if I'm missing any injuries, let me know. But Nuggets at the Kings in a good Monday night matchup.
Yeah, no, Kevin Huerter's out. He's doubtful.
Murray. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and Keegan Murray got the midday questionable tag. So to start with it, Mike Brown came out and said that it's whoever steps up for the Huerter injury. Fun fact, I got chewed out by Mike Brown for like 45 minutes in high school, which is crazy. But he says we'll go with whoever's playing well. Essentially, he did bring on Keon Ellis and say, hey, look, if we play him, we'll most likely take a couple of steps down before we take steps forward. But we'll kind of headline with him. I mean, Keegan Murray being questionable midday, I think he sits today. And if that's the case, I want to load up Ellis at 3,400. I mean, he's already getting his like 20s in minutes, but if that gets up to the mid 20s, especially when he takes some shots, even though, Murray's been playing like trash this year, I think he can slide in 25 minutes to get extra shots. But to jump over to the Nuggets side, I think it's a Joker or no Joker. That's the whole decision of the slate, right? He finally showed he was human and not a robot, giving us like a 30 bomb, whatever it is. With a 237 over under, I think I'd rather get off of Joker today. I mean, he could totally destroy us just by dropping his 75, 80 fantasy points like he does all the time. But I think the roster construction is going to be a little tough trying to roster him, get to some Raptors in this game. I think you're going to want a few pieces from this game. The Kings give up the third most catch and shoot points in the league. And that makes me really intrigued for guys like Michael Porter, Jamal Murray, even throw Aaron Gordon in there in a decreased price tag. I think those guys are all going to be in play for me, just with the high total and the price tags, being one way down, one a little too high in Michael Porter, I think, and then one pretty dead even with Jamal Murray. So I'm going to really consider getting either one or two of these guys if I'm fading Joker in hopes that they still reach their 118 team total. But then jumping over to the King size before I let you dive in on the game, it's really just Ellis for me. I mean, Sabonis obviously at 97 and Fox at 87. Is it 87? Okay, good. Going to be interesting. I think I'm going Fox there. I don't want to battle Sabonis at almost 10K playing against Joker. Fox's price is down. And, you take a couple extra shots off of the floor with Murray if he does miss. I do like this spot there. And then the last person I'll talk about is DeRozan at 8K. 8K, I don't think there's much upside at his price. He has been playing well, but I don't think that's for me.
Yeah, a couple things I missed from last game real quick. Keon Johnson or Tyrese Martin last man in for the Nets?
I think it's Keon Johnson. I think he has the opportunity to play 30 minutes today.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the Tyrese Martin stuff. I really don't. Like, he's shown upside, and I think he's 4K if I'm not mistaken. And he obviously offers upside there if he's going to take shots.
I mean, Joker went 77, like 78, 90, 85, then had that a dud. But I'm with Jordan. I think he just nukes this slate. And if you go by projections, I mean, he's like 15 points higher than the second place guy, which is Sabonis. I really like Joker tonight. I think there is enough value. Got a cat crawling across me, but I think there is enough value, like on those Raptors and maybe some of these Nets guys that I don't want to play. I think Joker's in a great spot tonight. And man, I can't be any more clear that Keon Ellis is like horrible at basketball. I wouldn't play that guy for nothing. I think Elijah Moore is going to score more points than Keon Ellis. And I think Elijah Moore had one catch for -2 yards yesterday. I think he'll score more points than Keon.
I love it. You hated that play yesterday.
I said, like an idiot, I played him on FanDuel. Like, that was such a horrible play.
Oh.
It was the first thing I said, and then on FanDuel, you just couldn't get off of him yesterday. And I was just so mad every time Judy caught 1,700 catches yesterday. Anyway, we're just tilting in NFL, but is he getting 94 like Luka? Yeah, Luka's performance last night was something else as well. But yeah, sorry to go on the rant, but Keon Ellis, I think, is a horrible basketball player, in my humble opinion. I do like Joker. Someone was asking about DeRozan. Let me go there real quick. DeRozan, Michael Peterson, who's from Sacramento. We weren't talking bad about Sacramento. I've never been there, Michael, so I'm not going to talk bad about it. But his floor is 28, ceiling 38. Yeah, that's generally. I think the ceiling a little bit higher, but
yeah.
I
love that. Sacramento's not bad. I went there. I played a state finals game there when I was in high school. We played at the old Sleep Chain Arena. And it's just so crazy when you're driving in. It's like, dude, we're in California. Why is there so much space, right? There was a lot of green and a lot of grass, but no knocking over there. I mean, I just won't visit NorCal or say hello or stuff like that. I'm off that. So
listen, to old BJ just humble bragging there, talking about the state championship game in basketball.
Throw that in, my bad. That's the only reason I would go up there. My bad. I need to be better at that.
No, it's all good. No, it should be a good game. Yeah. So we're on Jokic, obviously. Russell Westbrook, I didn't hear you mention his name with Jamal Murray. I really wouldn't have any interest in him. Anything else I'm missing? Sorry, I got kind of sidetracked going on my rant, but anybody else that we missed?
No, I think it is interesting, though. Like, if you're the Kings, and this is a high total, and you give up catch and shoot points, it's really like you want to play a shooter, right? Because especially when Joker's playing and he's getting an assist, he finds wide open shooters, and then you throw in a defense that gives him up. Yeah, I don't know. No, that's pretty much it. I saw Anthony in the chat. Sheldon High School. We played you guys in high school. You guys, I was graduated 2013. You guys had like 2 or 3 stud basketball players. I think one went to Washington, one played San Diego State. But you guys whooped us in the finals of like a San Diego tournament. You guys beat us by like 25. So that's funny.
Well,
I saw that.
It was his girlfriend, not him. I don't think you played her. Maybe
I mean, dang, man. Maybe. I don't know. It's 2024. It depends.
Well, 2013, they weren't doing that yet. But
yeah.
In any event, we'll move to the last game. Should be a good one. Hebrew's not here to talk about his beloved Utah Jazz going into LA to take on James Harden and the Clippers. Should be a decent game, I guess. I have some interest in some of these Clippers. Interested to hear your take on these Jazz. They're pretty deep, taking on James Harden, who I like Kevin Porter Jr. a little bit as well. But talk to me a little bit about this game, Jazz at the Clippers.
Yeah, Clarkson's questionable. I think he's going to play, and then Derek Jones, Terrence Mann out. Going back to the catch and shoot stuff, bro, I changed some stuff on the process a little bit and found some of these things, but the Jazz are the league's worst team giving up the catch and shoot. I think that was last year as well, but the Clippers don't really do that. I think there's a couple of missed prices for the Clippers before we dive into the Jazz, because I like the Clippers side a lot more. I think James Harden 9,400, I think that tag, is going to be like in question today. Like if everybody's going to RJ Barrett at 9-1, I believe, and he's at 9-4, that's a very close little swap. And I think everybody that isn't going to get to RJ, and even some of those people that do, they're going to get to Joker. So I think James Harden kind of gets a little sneaky spot here to drop, a 60, 65 spot at a 9-4 tag. So I really like him. Zubac at 71, he's just too cheap. I think he has to play at least 30 minutes with the matchup versus Kessler on the other side. So I really like him. I think Zubac a little bit better than Harden, actually. That's really that's really it for me on the Clippers side. The Kevin Porter stuff is interesting. He's 4,400, and he's coming off a game where he played 24 minutes, and I think he had like 30-something DraftKings points. So everybody's going to kind of look at that if we don't have value on the slate. But that game was out of hand into the second half. He only played 7 minutes in the first half. So what is that, 17 minutes in the second half? So he basically played like the whole end of that game to really, crush his value. So if he's going to be popular today as we get closer to lock, I think this might be an interesting spot for me to get off of some of that chalk at 4,400, where we could see 25-30% of the field playing a guy coming off the bench that if, the game stays close, which, at halftime, according to Vegas odds, it's a 4 or 5 2-possession game. I think we could see like a 15 to 16 minute game for Kevin Porter. And if 25% of the field is eating that chalk, I think I'm willing to get off that. But jumping over the Jazz side, I mean, this is interesting with Keontae George up top at 63. He's had great back-to-back games with almost 50 in DraftKings points in both those. But those matchups were Sacramento and Phoenix. Definitely different when you're getting, the Clippers at home. So don't really love that at 6,300. John Collins' price goes up to almost 8K, where he produced well last game, but we've seen him kind of be in that high 20s, low 30s in production. I don't think he's getting as many shots as he should. And at 7,800, that's kind of a tough roster. I think people are going to get to the market and stuff at sub 7K, but he's played really bad. And I think to throw in all of the Jazz stuff with Clarkson back in, it kind of jumbles up the entire mess. I saw a Kessler question in the chat. I mean, Kessler would probably be like I guess it's my favorite Jazz player if I had to play, because his floor is a little bit safer in my opinion. But don't really love the Jazz stuff, and I do love the Harden and Zubac stuff on the other side.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. Yeah, you just touched on Kessler. He asked about that. I don't have any interest in Bones Highland. I didn't hear you mention his name, or Zubac. Didn't mention his name. Just trying to go through some of these. But, yeah, don't have anything major to add there. It'd be Harden for me if I got there. But there's a lot of other point guards I like instead of him, especially over on FanDuel. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up this 6-game little mini slate tonight before we get to the How many games is there tomorrow? Just one? Is there a second?
Yeah, I think it's just the showdown, and then Wednesday. I don't even think we have a game. I want to verify that, but
yeah, I think there's no games Wednesday.
Yeah, so no interesting stuff. So there's no showdown tonight. I looked at the showdown stuff. It's ugly. I think the prize pool is only like 50 or 60K on DraftKings. So no showdown tonight, and I'm really curious. I'll do showdown tomorrow for Hebrew, hitting the slopes, but I'm really interested to see what kind of contest they throw out. I would assume it's huge, right? Finals game, all that stuff. So on the DraftKings side, really excited about tomorrow. But yeah, tonight, man, just enjoy basketball. 6 games, kind of the sweet spot. The contests aren't great, but they're not bad for 2 Monday night games going on in the football streets. But yeah, no, just enjoy today. And then tomorrow we all get to watch a competitive NBA game. Solo dolo. Obviously, I don't think there's any other sports unless you're into the hockey stuff. I don't even know if they're running hockey, but not for me. So all NBA. So I'm going to enjoy the next 24 hours.
Yeah. No, heck yeah. We appreciate all 200 of you tuning in right now. Like I said earlier, if you make sure you're hitting that like, make sure you're hitting that subscribe. Rio, if you're listening to us, Michael Peterson says, watch out for those trees. It's dangerous out there. Rio and BJ, they're young bucks though, man. They can take those falls better than old boy Ham over here.
I think I'm done off the falls. I fell the other day. It was funny. I was wearing socks. I got a bunch of tile, and I took a spill running after the kid around the corner. Dude, I was sore. I was sore for like 3 days, bro. So I think I'm officially past that age where I could take the falls. Maybe Rio, but not for me.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all tuning in. For my guy BJ, I'm Ham. We'll see you at the top of the leaderboards. Let's ship it.